Welcome to Borderline Furniture, Project 21 for the Charity Challenge hosted by Angie at Transcend Furniture Gallery. In the Charity Challenge, the furniture piece will be donated or sold and proceeds donated to someone in need. This project will be going to Base Camp Lindsey in Wichita Falls, where we have a homeless population with a large number of veterans. Being a veteran myself, I know there are many veteran programs available, and I'm able to reach out for help if needed, but not all veterans are capable or willing due to PTSD or mental illness. Base Camp Lindsey is a local grassroots initiative started by the vision of one person. Through community involvement, the organization secured a facility, which is currently under renovation, and additional land for a tiny homes community. Although the facility is not officially open, it supports veterans and the homeless population with monthly stand downs for hot meals and operates as a food and clothing distribution site. Base Camp Lindsey is working toward providing community based housing to help veterans transition from homelessness to permanent housing, and that's why I'm on board with Base Camp Lindsey. And now for the project. At first glance, this is a nice looking dresser, but up close, it's been painted with latex paint, which is failing. I'll be stripping this dresser and giving it a rustic look to fit in with the decor theme of Base Camp Lindsey. Now, I'm not sure if it's the latex paint or the extreme Texas heat, but I wasn't able to get the paint scraper to work on this dresser top. The stripper seemed to work, but then it was like scraping off bubblegum. After the stripper was scraped off, mineral spirits and afterwash had to be used to remove the residue, or sanding would be absolutely impossible. The leftover paint clogs the sandpaper if you don't remove it. I had to reapply stripper in several areas. Here I'm using a chip brush to work the stripper in. Initially, I thought this section had blown through the veneer because there were some deep sanding marks. Fortunately, this was not the case. Stripping the trim on the drawers was the worst, and hand sanding this piece took the longest time. Here's this place where I thought the veneer was toast, but it sanded out perfectly. Okay, it took me several weeks to go from this white latex to this rustic ranch. And now back to the project. I'm applying Minwax Pre-Stain. Pre-Stain allows the stain to absorb more evenly to prevent a splotchy finish. You just apply an even coat and then wait at least 15 minutes before applying the stain. I'm using Minwax oil-based stain in the color Early American. This stain took very evenly, except in the section where I blew through the veneer on the dresser top, but I have a plan to minimize the damage. Originally, I wanted to use embossed leather for the drawer fronts, but the wood was so nice that I didn't want to cover it up. I opted for this raised stencil technique as sort of a way to get a faux embossed leather look. I created this look using my silhouette cutter to create stencil templates and then Dixie Belle mud to create the raised stencil. Prior to applying the Dixie Belle mud, I sealed the drawer fronts using spray lacquer. Now, all of this was a little bit tedious and time consuming, but it was much more fun than applying stripper and sanding. Of course, after the mud dried and it was sanded, I used some black wax to seal the raised stencil. I came up with this idea to use a paper burnishing tool on the stencil edges. I did not seal the edges of the stencil with Mod Podge, poly, or even clear coat. I think the combination of the burnishing, the applicator stamp, Dixie Belle paint, and a lot of patience helped me achieve success. So I have this idea for a spirit warrior theme using this phoenix and some graphics. I purchased stencil paper and applicator stamps from Michael's, and then using my silhouette cutter again, I created the stencils. I have to tell you, I have the absolute worst luck with stenciling and paint always bleeding under the stencil. I actually took a class, which I think really helped. So, what do you guys think of this look? Let me know in the comments. Remember how I blew through the veneer on that dresser top? Well, I decided to use these graphics to cover up some of the damage. I had such great luck with the Phoenix. What could go wrong? Well, alignment, bleed through, or just too much stencil. Is that even a thing? Well, not today, because this turned out great. Oh, hey, I'm applying another stencil to the sides of the dresser. But I thought I would just surprise you during the reveal. Now, here's a product you might not be familiar with. It's Dixie Belle's patina paint. It comes in copper, iron, and bronze. I'm using the iron for this project. It has to be thoroughly stirred. I imagine this paint contains tiny metal particles that react with the patina spray. So here's how you use it. One coat is applied and dried, then a second layer is applied in the areas where you would want the paint to give the corrosion effect. While the paint is still wet, the patina spray is applied. My first attempt left me underwhelmed. After I thought about it, I live in hot as Hades, Texas, and we're having a very dry summer. I'm sure that this corrosion process needs moisture. So on my second attempt, I applied the second layer, added the patina spray, and then misted those areas a few times to slow the drying process, and it worked so good, I went back for more paint colors. By the way, I'm not monetized by Dixie Belle. I'm just sharing my experience using their products so you can learn from my mistakes or successes. Speaking of mistakes, this copper paint edition looks like a big one. I'm going to tone this down using some steel wool. Wish me luck. After minimizing the green, I sealed the front, sides, and top with clear lacquer. Nearing the end of completing this project, I found this bed at a local thrift store. Camp Lindsey is trying to furnish 20 plus rooms, and I couldn't resist, so I started the stripping, sanding, sealing, staining, and stenciling process all over again. And now for my favorite part, installing the hardware, because that means that this dresser is almost done. Just a reminder of the white dresser and the black bed frame before the final review. We are nearing the end of Project 21. I want to thank Angie for hosting this charity challenge. please click on the playlist link at the end of this video. Your thoughts and comments are always welcome, and thanks for watching!